All right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely Tuesday morning in which the Most High, a higher has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm going to come with a message that was put on my heart this morning, and I was pretty much trying to head out the door, and I felt so compelled by the Spirit to just upload this message. First of all, speak it, upload it, and stay in my lane and keep running. And in Matthew's chapter 13, I want to cover Matthew's 13 the way the Spirit gave it to me. And it reads, verse 1. The same day when went Yeshua out of the house, and he sat by the seashore, the seaside. Okay. One thing about what this is saying, I like it because it's telling you the type of mood Yeshua was in. He wanted to sit by the seaside. And just imagine what that could feel like. The ocean, and you just sitting there looking at the waves and the wind and how the waves, move, and just feeling the sea itself. It's almost like another life. And just imagine him going out of his house to sit on the seaside. He didn't get to sit there long, but I just wanted to share with you all his intent was to go out and sit by the seaside. Okay. And a great multitude, verse 2, and a great multitude were gathered together unto him, so that he went into the ship. So he ended up out of the house to sit down and relax by the seaside, but end up in the ship. And he sat in the ship. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. So he had to move from that comfort setting that he had sat in by the seaside, and he went into the ship and sat. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. When the Father gave me that, it felt like he was saying, see how Yeshua had to pull himself away from the multitude. He was feeling content with leaving the house and going to the seaside and just sit and relax. But when the multitude approached, he decided, no, let me get up. And he went inside the ship and sat there. Because the multitude then stood on the seaside shore. Okay? So now Yeshua is somewhere else, and that's in the ship sitting down. And the multitude, which it stated in verse 2, and a great multitude gathered together unto him. Okay. Now, I see a lot of revelation in wanting to. I can see it. Okay. And I have embraced it because it's feeling good to my spirit that the Father is saying Yeshua had to move himself from away from the multitude. And I'm going to show you what type of multitude this was, to where I can understand why he didn't feel to need to just sit on the side of the seashore and have them to sit and surround him, or to sit where he's at and surround him, the multitude. He decides to get up and go inside the ship and sit there. And the multitude stood on the multitude stood on the shore. So right there is a lot for me from the Father, because I was going out to go to my kid's house, and he's showing me how when you are appointed and anointed, most of the time you don't have to discern to get away from the multitude. Okay? And listen to Matthew's chapter 13. Now, this is what I come to embrace after yesterday. People have mimicked your words. They have taken on the name in which you call the Father. They have taken on words in which you have spoken, and they have not received the revelation in the power in which those things were given to you. They decide to mimic it. And the reason why he's saying that is because anything that I speak, if they are of spirit and truth and have walked in the light, they should be able to understand what one is saying. Most people decides to get offended. The only way you get offended is when spirit's truth is applied to you. You see, as long as it's applied to the world and those that are out there, and or we talking about everybody else, but now truth pressed upon your bosom and you can't handle it. And the Father showed me. Now see, listen to it. Let's just listen to the words. They didn't get what you said. I was like, so Father, it was like I was saying then. He said, yes, it is. It's identical to what you said. It's identical. They are mimicking you. They're not learning me. They're not feeling me. They're not seeing, understanding, and hearing me. They're hearing you and they're mimicking you and saying through you they have me. And that's not true. So in time to come, we'll reveal who is who through your own self. You see? And this is why Yeshua was on the sea shore sitting, not the seashore, on the seaside, enjoying the ocean. And when the multitude approached, the great multitude, he decided to go inside the ship. Why? You're going to hear. And that's what he's saying to me. Go inside the ship, Deborah. Go on inside the ship. Okay. Now what happens? In verse 3, and he spoke many things unto them in parables. He spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, that means look, y'all, look, a sower went forth to sow, Okay. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the side, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Verse 5, some fell on stony places where they had not much earth. That's going back to what I'm just saying. I'm talking to a bunch of people who are falling on this category because they didn't have the soil to be rooted. They got on the bandwagon. Listen to what he's saying. Verse 5, some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness in the earth. Verse 6, when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away. Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But verse 8, but others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit. Some 100-fold, some 20-fold, some 30-fold. And then I notice in verse 9 something that's very powerful. He says, he that in the flesh hear, let him hear. He that in the flesh ears, let him hear. He that is in his flesh, let him hear this parable. Now, the parable is representing a higher saying. The Deborah, you can be speaking all day, all year after year after year after year after year to those on the wayside, those on stony ground, and those that are in thorns. When you say something that break into their conscience of guilt, then they have to spring up with saying something that didn't even make any sense based on the topic in which I was speaking. I'm like, Father, did not they miss what I said? He said, this is the cause. So this is why I had to sit. You see, I was getting ready to leave. I had to sit down and get up under the ruach in this study. So all of these things, it didn't matter who the sower was. And it was Ahiah who sowed the word in seeds. And out of 4 seeds, type of seeds, or group of seeds, 3 of them didn't land where they can produce because it wasn't in them. And that's where I'm at today. When I heard a couple of messages when I got up this morning, and I see that you all are so far from where I'm at. If I'm south, you way north. And I'm way south. If I'm east, you way west. You are nowhere where I'm at to have that mindset like that. It's just like, Father, they totally missed it. He said, I asked him, how could you have broken down it to the less of the less? And they missed it. He said, they never had it, Deborah. I said, but wait a minute now, Father. I've been on here. He said, don't matter how long you've been on here. You've been on here, and I've been telling you. I've been telling you since you've been on here. You can't give these people something that I have not released for them to have. And by now, you would think that they would, but the way they are with you or the way they are with me. And he said, it just said plainly. So he's showing me, Deborah, if I set up 4 sets of seeds to go into the earth with my word, and none of it penetrated outside of the last one, the one that went into the soil, because I placed it where I know and knew it would grow. Now, as he was saying in verse 8, but others fell into the good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. He was saying, do you think that these people you gave that message to yesterday brought forth anything? He said, they ain't brought forth nothing. They ain't going to bring forth nothing because they are in full denial of what is spirit of truth. They in full denial of everything you said yesterday because they offended. Their emotions and their feelings are so big. So now they ain't going to know how to go and come. Because everything you said, ain't nothing you said yesterday was found in unrighteous. It landed where it needed to land. It spoke truth. and they missed it. This is what I've been telling you, Deborah. Every time you give messages, you're giving it out of the right heart. You're giving them out of the pureness of the what I give you and I've taught you. They can't handle it. They can mimic what you say. Oh, spirit and truth. We going to the light, knowing the narrow gate. They can only repeat what you say. But when it come down to be tried by spirit and truth, they are offended. They are very offended. They missed the whole topic. And that's why he say their struggle is real. And their struggle is going to be real. Many people are searching for finances for life to be lost so they can gain finances. And Ahia said that's wicked and evil. And some people have been like that through their whole life, searching and waiting for something to cease, to die, so that they can inherit. And Ahia said that's one of the biggest things, spirits that's out here today. And I know that. Because I've gone to too many estate sales and see the family members so excited about selling everything an individual had to get everything out the house so they can sell the house and get the funds. Everybody is hooked on the addiction of trying to inherit. That's why they go out buy a lot of policies and go out and get involved in all this family stuff and chaos. Why? Because everybody's searching a spirit of greed. And when you have a spirit of greed, you don't know what it's like to give. You miss the whole spiritual thing about spirit and truth, because greed is what you are part of. So I'm saying to the Father, I say, listen to this here. Listen with it. You see this here. It has nothing to do with the message I gave yesterday. The message I gave represent if you are on a higher side, or you gonna tell a higher through the king, the one who owns the kingdom. You're gonna have to wait until I get this. You're gonna have to wait till this person die. You're gonna have to wait to this, or wait to this, or wait to this. Ahia said, you don't tell me what to wait for, nor shall mine have to wait. Honestly, you all, Sister Deborah is not in want for nothing. Yeah, I might need a car, but guess what? Ahia has taught me the daily bread, something you all don't know nothing about. Because if you really want to know what the daily bread is a situation he takes you so you can understand life itself that you breathe on. You take that breath daily. That's what you have to understand. The things of this flesh, just appreciate what you have every day to the flesh. Just as that breath you breathe daily. Once you get that fullness, he take you to the wilderness and teach you your daily bread. Let me tell you something. You ain't going to be in need for nothing. Because he know he already routed you how to live your daily bread. People are so bent in their wicked and greed heart. Ahia said it's going to be like the days of Noah, Deborah. I tried to tell you. I said, but Father, the days of Noah, they thoughts of their imagination was evil and wicked. He said, that's the part they refuse to teach. That's the mind of the people today. So it's lead me to understand, you can't really teach no spirit and truth. You can teach it and all they're going to be grabbing all spirit and truth, the light, the spirit and truth. But the power that rests behind it, they can't handle it. They feel offended because you're telling them how important it is to build up their treasures in the heaven. They making it look like it's yours on the earth. They making this an earthly treasure instead of a spiritual treasure. I said, Father, how could so many minds miss it? He said they never had it. They never had it. He said, Deborah, they never had it. They had your words. And they teach your words to each other. They live off your words with one another. He said they even will talk against what you say because they thinking that they have the keys to the kingdom and they don't have anything. And it's the reason why they don't have anything. And this is what this is about. So as we see in Matthew 13, he says in verse 9, who has an ear to hear, let him hear. He's telling, let your flesh hear what has been said. Let your nasty flesh hear what has been said. Now, then in verse 10, listen to how the disciples is kind of upset about the fact that he gave them something that they was wondering, what's that you saying? What's that you telling them? And they said in verse 10, the disciples came and they said unto him, why speaketh thou until them in parables? What is this about? And he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mystery, Deborah. It is given to you to know the mystery of the kingdom of heavens. But to them, it is not given. I didn't give them the kingdom of the heavens, the keys to the kingdom. I didn't give it to them. The mysteries, Deborah. Like you told it in Revelation 10. They don't get it. You putting out pure word. You putting out true spirit and truth. You putting out so much light. These people are still sitting amongst darkness. Because once their emotions and their feelings get caught up in what you say, they all bent up backwards. And that should show you, Deborah, that you're talking to the dead. Wow. You're talking to the dead. So is that why I used to always say, well, why is it they can't clam on nothing? Why is they saying the same thing? Oh, yes, you're speaking parables to them. And they can't even grip the parables. So why are you speaking word? It's because I'm allowing you to run the race. Run the race in another way. You stay in the race, but go in another direction. Don't use the devil platform to feel that you have to come to a people that what this is going to break down that you're dealing with. So in 10, the disciples came and they said unto him, we in Matthew 13 and verse 10, and said unto him, why speaketh thou unto them in parables? And he answered and he said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mystery of the kingdom of heavens, but to them it is not given. Go for what you know. Since you are so holy, then thou know the A to Z of Ahaia's word. And Sister Deborah don't know nothing. You know, she ain't teaching us. Get your butt off this page. Please! Leave it for those who are seeking the elects. They're speaking spirit and truth. Get off the page. Because it's nothing you're going to do but complain and be offended, feelings and emotions. So go somewhere else. Because what the Father is sharing with me here is deep. And he said, verse 11, and Yeshua answered the disciples, because it is given unto you to know the mystery of the kingdom of heavens, but not unto them. It is not given. Verse 12, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given. So if it's given, the mystery is given to me, he's going to continue to give me. And he shall have more abundantly. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that which he has. What he think he has shall even be taken from him. That means it's nothing that one's going to have that's going to last anytime. Because they're going to be always questioning. Because it ain't going to be something that's rooted into the soil. So they're going to feel, oh, I got spirit and truth. I know the light. I have this. Next minute, they wondering where they at, where they stand. because they really don't have what they think they have. And a lot of people don't understand, if he allowed you to come in the midst, like he told the rich man in hell, they have the prophets and Moses, meaning people in wickedness and darkness don't expect nothing else, because they are the ones that has the mystery to the kingdom of heaven. And what I understood was, that was such a breakdown yesterday, a really good breakdown. But it's only going to be worth what an elect can understand. Those that is not elect, oh, they get offended. They get hurt. My feelings. Oh, when I get this, I'm going to do this. Or when I get this, I'm going to do this. Everybody waiting to get something from somebody that's dead. Or how you said, that's people whose mind is stayed on inheriting from the dead. And they think they hear, and they don't even understand, baby. You at the ground waiting for the next one to die. So your greed can gain. So you can live as if you are truly blessed. And how you say, no, you ain't. Blessed is not what you give yourself. It's what you give to my righteous. And that's what you all missed. That's what you missed. And since Sister Deborah is speaking something that says you're not entitled to anything from me until I get it, or till okay, you're not saying that to me. Deborah is not in want for nothing. Yeah, I need a car, but guess what? I continue to use my ex-husband's car and let Ahia continue to work that out. Because if you think for 1 minute, that Sister Deborah is bent and in need, let me tell you, I would never invite nobody back to my house. I would never allow anyone to come into my comfort zone no more. That is it. Because people want to know you to really bring hate towards you. They want to figure you out, what makes you tick. They don't even understand Satan can send you in anywhere to make you think you holier than thou, you the righteous one. And he can give you all the right things to say, the right things that you think to do. And then you begin to pay your way in just to see who a person is. But Ahia got your number. He know who you are. He know that you mean no good to nothing but yourself. And he's going to let you bring good to yourself to where you don't even know how to bring peace here, nor good to your own flesh. Because people have some really sick issues. Ahia is saying to the people that the kingdom of heaven, seek ye the kingdom of heavens first, before you seek your children, before you seek your husband, before you seek anything. Seek ye the kingdom of heavens. And what are you seeking, kingdom of heavens? You're seeking the righteousness. What is a part of his righteousness? Build up treasures in the heaven. And he didn't told you how. And you turn to him. No, I'll wait till I get this here. When this person get this money, I'm going to do this. And when this person get this, I'm going to do this. When I get a job, I'm going to do this. Y'all said, wait a minute. Are you telling me the only way you're going to see me is when you gain from the world? You mean that's what you're saying to me? This lady sat down and gave y'all all these verses and broke that thing down to where it can't go down no more, and that's the best you can see? See, Deborah, what I tell you. That's what he's saying to me, what I tell you. You giving the pure, adulterated word. You giving it in spirit and truth with all light empowered in it. They can't receive none of it. When their emotions and their feelings get caught up in it, it tells you who they are. That's the true fruit of who they are. And that's what he was meaning. Your fruit is laid up where your heart is. He said your heart, your treasures is laid up in your heart. And there your treasure is, so shall you here and in your body be. And Sister Deborah said, well, where would that treasure be if anything had to happen? Lost without a cause. And then I said to the Father, I said, does this make any sense? Do not email me. Do not text me. Do not call me. Okay? Don't call me. Call someone else and get with them. Since it's best for one to do that where they don't have to. To me, I think it's sad that individuals would stoop as low as to think this thing is about personal. Me, and mine's. Ahia don't care about you don't have no job. The reason why you ain't got no job, because you haven't invested anything in the kingdom. You have never sought him first. And he said, all shall be added. The reason why things are turmoil is because you ain't done nothing he asked you to do. But you're claiming to be spirit and truth. You're claiming to be the light. And he's sitting here saying, Deborah, you better use what I put in you. You better try that spirit by the spirit and let them know who you are. Because they got you bent. They already had me bent, but they got you really bent now. I said, yes, Father, they do. Because to send out message as if you missed everything I said yesterday. You claim you have spirit and truth. Guess what? Spirit and truth. It's not wrestle with what you have, what you got, and when you get it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Ahia knows those are oaks that you are constantly keep making. And he said, never make an oak. Never make one. But that's what you all do. Constantly make that and thinking that that's something that the flesh of Deborah, it's going to have sympathetic and feel. Baby, I'm walking in the spirit. I've been to places where people don't have nothing. I've sat day and night amongst the homeless, the sick, the prisoners. So don't come telling me what you don't have. It's when you in their situations, and their situations is set there. So those who do have a little going on can share in the ones that don't have anything, because Ahia set them there for that purpose. They can't see that though. Only time they want to help the homeless when they want to get into a emotional feeling. To prove that I'm serving y'all. To prove that I help the homeless. Ahia ain't going for that. He said, seek ye thee, me, the kingdom. And let anything else that you're lacking be added. Why it ain't been lacking? Why haven't your health been restored? Because your mind is not restored. Your spirit is not restored. Your heart and where your treasures are, it's not restored. So don't come texting me. Don't come writing me. Don't come emailing me. And don't come messaging me regarding your pity party. Because Sister Deborah don't want to hear it. To me, you all don't know me. And I knew you didn't, because the Father kept reminding me. You are not them and they are not you. You represent something totally different than these people on this Deborah platform. And that's why I kept on y'all in the live chat. Climb on top, y'all. Get up there and grab his garment. Come on now. Get into the spiritual. You can't get him in there. And I love what he gave me yesterday to set me free. And then I give it to you all. And you all get bit because you don't understand. It's deeper than you. And you will and shall be measured and live continuing in the struggle in which you have. And you're going to continue it. Because you still are forsaken anything that's truly spirit and truth. Now, here he said in verse 11, and he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you, Deborah, to know the mystery of the kingdom, of heavens. But to them, no, Deborah, it's not given. Now, you got so many people who think they so how is skilled mentally and so sharp. And a higher say they play in both sides and one side getting the best of them. Because when it's all said and done, guess what? We're going to see the outcome and how it pans itself out. And that's all we need to walk on now, because a higher already revealed to me through this message. Just come on down, keep running, but get away from those on your left and your right. Keep running the race though. Now, here he said, for whosoever have, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundantly. But whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away even that which he think he has. That's what that means. Because you all think you got something. And it's constantly, and it's going to be continually taken from you. And you're going to be battling what you're doing now, running to page, trying to get the right one. You're going to get caught up from the floor in something that don't mean you're no good. But that seemed like what you need, because here it is. Ahia said he don't put you in the presence. He don't allow you to come up to the presence of his elects. And because it was something not just for you, it was something for me. I enjoy the experience that the Father has given to me, but it has put me with two great antennas. Don't take them in. Don't look at them to be in the fold if Ahia has not placed him there. And you, Deborah, you shall know them by their fruit. They got offended at your message. They didn't even take it in spirit and truth. So that shows you they don't know nothing about no spirit and truth. Because if they did, they would have took it in that order. But because they found themselves being offended, and they need to be offended, because throughout this year and next year, you see how many times you're going to be offended. And see if you being offended and your mood swings going to get you out of what you offended about. Okay? Now, one thing I like about this in verse 13, he says, therefore speak I to them in parables. Therefore, Deborah, I to them speak in parables. Therefore, Deborah, Yeshua speaks to them in parables. I speak to you in the word. I give you the mystery to the kingdom. But to them, I speak to them in parables. And anyone that think that they've been spoken to by the word, then they are a liar if they had to come up with Sister Deborah or the voice of Sister Deborah and think that you heard the word from the Most High. And get bit because she gave you all spirit and truth out of the biblical. Verses after verses, precepts after precept, line after line, little here and a little there, and the Ruach HaKodesh teaching itself. And then you get bent up and bent down. I'm glad you got bent up and bent down. It showed your true identity. It wasn't about your feelings and your emotions. It was facts about if you're representing him. If you are representing Ahia, seek ye the things that is righteous and pleases him. And let him see to it everything that you might even desire come forth. Oh, no, we can't do that. We got to wait till we do this and wait till we do that. That's right. That's the same thing with the 10 virgins. 5 had oil and 5 didn't. And when he came, they went hunting for, let me get me some oil now. Let me get what I need now. Baby, you don't even understand where you at in this day and time according to the will of the Father. But let's go here. In Matthew chapter 13 and verse 13, he's saying this here to his disciples. Therefore I speak I to them in parables, because they see not. You seeing me, but you don't see. You see not. And what does he say? They hear you, Deborah, but they hear not. Neither do they understand. Already, I know that. How many times have I said that on different videos? That I'm sitting here giving you the prayer, and y'all can't see it, y'all can't hear it, and you still run around. I got spirit of truth. I'm in the light. Ahaya. Have he given you that name in the closet? And the closet is a holy place. You're on holy ground when he gave you that. No, you're repeating Sister Deborah. And because you're doing it out of rehearsing Sister Deborah's words, you have no words of your own. Because the Spirit of the Most High wants you to know this the way Sister Deborah know it, by just confirmation in the spirit and not in the understanding of your flesh. But here he says, therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see Sister Deborah, but see not. They hear Sister Deborah, but hear not. Neither do they understand. That whole message yesterday dropped straight to the floor, and it bounced back up, but that's all right too. Spirit and truth. Ain't gonna get it no prayer than that. They made it a personal thing about Deborah, wanting something from them. And Hias gave you the word to teach you that, hey, build up your treasures in heaven. Oh no, I got to build my treasures on the earth. When I get this and then did this, then maybe you might not even live to see that day. You know how long you've been saying that? You know how long people been holding on and grafting that they got something because somebody passed away and you inherited? You know how many people do that? That's the last thing. Do you all know that has been my prayer? That's my prayer every day regarding me and my children. Father, whatever you bless me with, I pray that I don't have to lose life to gain anything. When you got people believing that makes them somebody, because they gain for losing and don't understand, that's not a blessing. That's not what you call a blessing. That's why when we take off and do things and thinking we got the power because of what we had, people need to sit down. Think, if I didn't have, how would people deal with me and receive me? They'll see you for who you are. And you won't use what you have as your leverage, your control, and your power. And that's why Sister Deborah say things can come in your life that should show you are powerless. It ain't based on what you have. It's what you do with what you have. And if a higher telling you, if you're not invested in my righteous ones, my elects, my servants, that's the way you build up treasures in the heaven. And they turn around and tell you, when I get a job, I'm going to do this. And when I get this, I'm going to do this. And when this person pay off this, a higher you don't say those things to the word of Yah. And I know you might get bit because Sister Deborah teaching it. Go back over the videos and then go over every verse, every precept, every line, every little here and little there that will say it. It'll make you sound to yourself foolish because I did not make it personal. I made it spiritual. And you couldn't take it because that's how it was back in the days. They didn't take heed to nothing the prophet said, nor did to show them that they were representing Yah. it didn't mean nothing. And Sister Deborah, you get messed up from the floor up if you want to. I am a prophetess. I already know that I am to judge. So you better watch yourself in the midst of your foolishness in thinking that you can convert what she taught into your personal feelings and your personal emotions. It ain't worth a dime. Because Ahia already knew every word I said is backed up with the word that proceeds out of his mouth. Sister Deborah didn't tell nobody nothing but what he have said about treasures in the heaven and building up on what you got in the earth. Which common sense, if you got your together, you'll see the earth is the world, and the fullness thereof is what the world get pleasure out of. And if you think it's about that whole message was about building up treasures on the earth, and once you do that, I'll look over on this side. Once I take care of me, and mine, yeah, I might put up some treasures in the heaven. That's for people who's continue to be lost. And I feel disappointed because I realize that all that talk, and it was totally missed. As always, I say that all the time. So this is not the first time I brought that up. Not that, but other issues. How is it that you could be talking to people and they all in it? Oh, I'm spirit and truth. I'm the light. And then you turn around and say something so simple and it shows you really where they at. It's no way I would tell the Father that it's about me. And the Father knew. He knows that. Why would he teach me my daily bread and I get on here and try to tell you all it's about me and given to me? You sick. You're sicker than sick. But I thank the Father for that message because you know what? It shows separate the wheat from the tare in my eyesight. It separate those that are giving the word to from those who are giving parables. People are set up in parables and they taking their parables and running with it and mimicking those who are running with the mystery in the word, trying to mimic it. You'll never be able to do the righteous will of the Father. You'll never be able to go out there and take care of the homeless, the fatherless, the widows, the orphanage, like the men should have done. They never did get that. That's how a lot of people are today. It's not just the men. The women are like that too. They want to feel emotions toward helping somebody. They want to feel this thing so they can go out there and feed and give so they can feel good in their flesh. Or how you say, until you right in your spirit, I don't care what you give in your flesh. I had to be taught that, so I know he's speaking of you. I had sold about 1,800 one day and 1,600 another at Barnes Hospital and Chrysler. I had made that money in 2 days. 2 days, Friday and Saturday. I was selling barbecue and fried fish, and it felt so good. So the next pay period, I did the same thing. I was working at the hospital. I did the same thing, and I boxed up everything. I'm very professional in the way I pack my food, and everybody got a little brown bag with their lemon cake or their cheesecake, a soda, the fork, the knife, their spoons, salt and pepper package. They get it in a little brown bag, and they get their container. So when they sit down to eat, hey, it's on. And they always said, you always give us more than enough. We always have it for dinner, take it home for dinner. So I liked it that. So I've started really making money that way as something that I loved, y'all. It wasn't that because I needed the money. I'm gonna be honest. It was just something I loved. And I got a kick out of it because sometimes I spent more than what I made. But it was the ideal of something I love doing. So this particular pay period, I decided to do it. And I was excited, because I had did everything all nice and neat. Everything was just right. And then all of a sudden, No one ordered. I was like, oh no, they didn't. Nobody. And guess why? Because he had came to me and he had said, why don't you go to Reverend Rice downtown and feed the homeless? And I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to set it up. And he said, he canceled those. I used to see how when a higher moved, he moved. He canceled all those dinners. I mean, nobody bought. I might have had 5 or 6 dinners sold, but that was it. I had all that food that I had purchased and bought. But when he came to me, boy, he straightened that thing out. He said, now you take these meals downtown. And I was tickled pink. I didn't even see the fact that all I had paid for it. I was just so eager that he taught me something in the midst of what I thought I was doing. I would happily took him down there, and those people were so grateful. They made me feel so good. I think I gave about 60 meals, but they were so grateful. They couldn't believe they got a sack with either cheesecake or lemon cake or soda. They had barbecue rib tip fish dinners. They had their bread. They had everything, and they were just so tickled that this lady brought these things down. And just, I mean, we don't have to pay for it. No. And I just passed them out, and I got such a blessing out of that. Just that feeling of knowing that the Most High will stop me in my tracks and get me in the right place that I need to be in Him. So don't run no mess down to me and tell me who I am. You wouldn't even go to the realm of where I be to talk to the people that's out there. You wouldn't spend nights under the bridge. I don't have to take all my sons and my daughter. I go by myself. I know who's with me. You see? And I'm not going down there to feel good about what I'm doing. See, that's why you're bent. Because you think it's about making you feel good. Making you think you representing Yah. Then a higher send the prophets in the midst of you to tell you how to build up your treasures on the earth. And you get bent out of order and get into a personal feelings and emotions about what you gonna do and what you could do and what you want to do. How you didn't ask you that? He didn't ask you that. And he didn't tell me to teach it like that. It's where you were at always, not where you proclaim to be. So even in this, I love it because it says in verse 13, therefore speak I to them in parables. He telling the disciples, I ain't giving them what I'm giving you. I got to speak to them in parables because seeing, they even can't see it. Hearing it, Deborah, they can't hear it. And they don't even understand it. So don't feel that that message was void because it is not going to fall to the ground. It's going to stand tall as it was spoke and taught. And let all of those that took it the way their emotions and their feelings took it, let them fall by the wayside. Because they don't understand spirit and truth in the realm of the way Ahia has created things. He ain't created nothing on this earth for you to get glory and honor and worship and you all this and you all that. Oh, it's about me, me, me. I think about him when I get a job. Yeah, okay. That's what a lot of people say. When I choose to get right once I graduate from college, or I take this trip here and take this trip there, then I come back and get right. Everybody got a way of how they gonna wait. They gonna tell him when they gonna do something. That's why they can't follow and wonder why the struggle is real. The struggle is real because you made it real. The struggle is real because you made it real. And anything that is among us that we have breeded of what doctors and medical people and pharmacy has breeded in us, we take that to heart and we claim it to the teeth. But Ahia will give you an opportunity to see if you'll ever be able to fulfill anything. If anything come up on you, you ain't gonna be able to fulfill nothing. Why? because you sat around and said he's going to wait on me instead of me stepping out on faith in what he said do. I don't want nothing from damn one of you. Because if it's that hard, when he told me, when you told them to give that dollar, that was hard for them there. I was like, but Father, I done gave that dollar back. And they too ignorant to even see it. You see? That's what he showed me. So, the beauty of this message comes in verse 14 as well. It came in 13. As in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Elijah, which said, by hearing ye shall hear, and not understand. Thank you, Father, y'all. Thank you, Father, y'all. I love the Father when he bring me word of comfort to let me know your words are not going to come back void, Deborah, because they are my words. And just because men get caught up in their flesh and feel offended, let them feel offended. My word is still yet going to stand, whether it comes out of your mouth or I send another. And if I send one prophet, and I'm going to show y'all where the ignorance is in y'all head, he don't send another. And if it's someone comes, it won't be of y'all. And maybe then your emotion will be okay. Maybe then you can bow down and worship. Maybe then you can do what you want to do, when you want and how you want it. And that's what you need in your life. The false prophet and not the prophet of the Most High, a highest elects. Now, here in 14, I see he has a star. He wants me to cover that before I get off of here. And it says, and in them is filled, and in them is fulfilled. It's already fulfilled. So Sister Deborah ain't sitting here talking about nothing that Ahaya ain't already orchestrated. Okay? Sister Deborah speaking spirit and truth in the midnight hour. And y'all sitting here clowning about your emotions. And when you get this and when you get that, that's on you. Get it and do what you can do with it. Okay? And 14 said, in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Elijah. Now, he said it's already fulfilled. So when you run around here thinking what Sister Deborah's saying is wrong and she talking this, wait until I don't have nothing, I ain't got no job. Or how you say, you thinking you're talking not to the flesh of the prophet, you're telling me to whom sent her. No! You wait till I get established. And that's why you're not established and you're not going to be. Because your faith is built up on what you have, what you're planning to have, what you're getting, and what you're not having. That's your faith. Faith is a substance of what you can't see, but yet you just got to trust in it. You don't have that either. See, faith is something that's branded in us before the foundation of the world. And there are those who claiming to have something that's not even branded in them. Because faith wouldn't cause you to say, when I get a job, when I get this, when I get that. Ahaya ain't asked you to give nothing. He said, lay up treasures in the heaven. And then he told you how. And you get offended because the sister is telling you what I told her to tell you. And if you follow every verse she said, she ain't saying nothing wrong. But the problem is you get offended because you think it's about flesh to flesh. It's about your emotion and your feelings. Why? Because Ahaya told me the straight answer. The guilt that they come every time to the plate that Sister Deborah sit before, and they offer nothing. It's where you can go and get a plate of anything and not pay for it. So why in spirit and truth, why in Ahaya you won't bless my servant that I have sent? so that you can gain treasures in the heaven. You sicker than sick. I'm done. I am fine. I thank the Most High for that message yesterday because I feel it has truly blessed me. And then what he gave me this morning, listen to this. In verse 14, he said, no, in verse 15, no, in verse 14, he said, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Elijah, which said, by hearing ye shall hear and not understand, and seeing ye shall see and shall not perceive. That's exactly what I'm saying. All that yesterday was precept, line, chapters, verses, a little here, a little there, and the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, which taught me before I even got on the platform. And then you all missed it just that easy because your shame and your how would I say it? Your feelings, your emotions, and your personal opinion regarding truth. Because you felt offended. And you figure, oh, if I can get one or two to join with me, then we right and she wrong. The oldest game in the book, y'all. Or if I can get 5 or 6 to agree with me and I can get on the phone, we can talk, we can make her wrong so we can be right. Good luck. Good luck. That's what you're going to need. Because I hear the voice of the Most High say, touch not my anointed and mean no type of harm, not even with your ugly mouth. So because I tell you truth, you found me not to be worthy of spirit and truth. So I tell you what, slide off this page. I will not communicate with you no longer. Okay? I will not communicate with you no longer. The message that I'm going to set forth is going to be throat cutting. So you better stay away because I'm not dealing with you. I'm not going to communicate with you. I'm not going to deal with you. And you know who you are because I know who you are. So you can gather together and feel good about trying to tell Deborah that we all feel like that. The multitude is to the broad gate, not to the narrow. So you can join a million. You're still going through the broad gate and not the narrow. So as he said, Elijah had already spoke this. He spoke what, Deborah? He spoke by hearing ye shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see and not perceive. And verse 15, for this people's heart is wax gross, and their ear dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. I really believe that. I really believe that. Lest at any time they shall see and their eyes, with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and shall understand with their heart, and shall be converted, and I shall heal them. And that is what he gave me this morning. Because he wants me to know, don't ever think you off balance and you all are off balance and out of line. The one that will first go against you is the one that will be in your chat, saying they agree. Praise the Most Higher, spirit and truth and the light. But when you come down with giving the message that shall offend them, they can't handle it. Then you understand who they are in the spirit. So Sister Deborah, say I know you got something out of it, whether you didn't or you did. It's best that you scoot on to the next platform, because Sister Deborah going to continue to give what higher gives me, but to those who can handle it. So if you can't handle the heat, get out of the skillet, okay? Because Sister Deborah is going to bring it on. Because we are living in a day where people don't want you to say nothing that offend them. As long as you saying something that's causing you to offend, causing others to be offended, or you saying something to those that's out there, they don't want to feel that you're talking to them. As long as you're talking to somebody else, we good. But when you start talking within us, when we got something to say, good, say it to each other. Shalom and shalom.